So the LA Dodgers just played their final game of the opening Tokyo series against the Cubs, and man do they look even more dominant than ever. Shohei Ohtani went deep, we got to see Roki Sasaki make his major league debut on the mound, and what a way this was to start out the MLB season for the Dodgers. The MLB has to be terrified for what is about to come its way. I just don't see any way outside of catastrophic injuries that anyone can compete with this team. Before I get into everything, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so getting into a recap of the 2 games, starting with game 2, which was the most recent one, Shohei nearly started out the game with a boom. He blasted one opposite field to the left field wall, but he just got under it, and the Dodgers didn't do much the rest of the inning. Sasaki was pumping some 100-mile-per-hour fastballs over the plate, drawing some oohs and ahs, and I cannot wait to watch him pitch this season. He forced a pop out, then got his first strikeout, and then he forced another pop out to end the inning. The Dodgers started off the second inning on the right foot when Muncy ripped a ball to right to start the inning off with a double, and then with runners on second and third, a pass ball moved both up one, giving the Dodgers their first run of the game, and then Hernandez hit a sac fly to center to score the second run. In the bottom of the second, the Cubs did create some traffic on the bases, but Sasaki threw a great pitch to create a double play, and in the third with 2 outs, Edman cranked the ball out over the left field wall to put the Dodgers on top 3-0. And that right there is why this team is so dangerous. I mean, I think by now everyone knows, but when it's not even the top of the line guys beating you, that's when you know a team is insanely deep. In the third, Sasaki finally ran into some adversity, loading the bases up on a walk with only 1 out, and he ended up walking in a run, putting him in a pretty dangerous situation. But he locked in and responded, getting a huge strikeout on a 2-2 pitch, and then he struck out Shaw with a nasty split sinker, and he was fired up afterwards. Will Smith started out the fourth, ripping a ball down the line for a double, and then Kiki Hernandez absolutely pimped a ball that quickly left the yard. It was quite the shot, and it was quite the way to start out the season, and all of a sudden, the Dodgers had a comfortable 5-1 lead. The bottom of the fourth ended Roki's night, and the bullpen got to work. And with a couple of runners aboard, Ian Happ lined one to the outfield to score a run to put the Cubs within 3, but Garcia responded with a strikeout to limit the damage. And then in the top of the fifth, that is when the place erupted, because Shohei Ohtani was throwing a low fastball that caught the middle of the plate, and he did not miss it. You knew it was gone when it left the bat, and what a moment it was. I'm sure the MLB was loving it, because in Tokyo, that is exactly what you want to see happen. And really, that was it for most of the excitement. The next inning for the Cubs, Shaw had an infield single and Dansby hit a double to score him, and he got the third on a throwing error, but 6-3 was your final score, and the Dodgers started off the season 2-0. Looking at the numbers from this game, Sasaki pitched 3 innings and gave up 1 run. Not a bad debut at all. And then Knack pitched 2 innings and gave up no runs, and Yates and Vasaya also had shutout innings. Shohei Ohtani was 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 walks. Edman was 1 for 5 with that blast. Will Smith was 1 for 2 with 2 walks and 2 runs. Muncy was 1 for 4 with a run. Kiki Hernandez was 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs and that majestic blast. And then Conforto and Pages were both 1 for 3. The Dodgers really showed their depth in this game, and like I said, this is the team to fear in the MLB in 2025, and they were in 2024. Nothing changed. Now moving on to what was the first game of this 2025 MLB season, we saw Yamamoto on the mound, and he started the game off with a walk, but he got out of the inning clean, and the Dodgers started the second inning off with 2 base runners thanks to back-to-back walks, but the Dodgers couldn't capitalize with 3 straight pop-ups. Dansby Swanson started off the next inning with a hard hit single. Amaya hit a gapper to score Dansby to give the Cubs the first run of the season. The Dodgers then in the 4th inning created some traffic with a few walks, and then Kiki Hernandez just missed a home run, cranking a fly ball to the center field warning track, which moved the runner to third, but Conforto popped out to third, and the Dodgers couldn't capitalize on that either. Rojas started out the 5th inning with a walk for what was already at the time the Dodgers' 5th walk of the game. They were super disciplined, and then Ohtani ripped one low to right field to put runners at the corners with no outs, and then Edman was able to hit a low line drive to left that was trapped and hit the ground, which tied the game up at 1 apiece and put runners at second and third with still no outs. And then on a ground ball, the Cubs tried to force a double play to get out of the inning, but instead they overthrew it, and Shohei was able to put the Dodgers on top 2-1. Then Will Smith knocked in his first run of the year with a line drive to the outfield right over the shortstop's head, and it was 3-1 LA. He really went down to hit that ball. We saw a very aggressive approach, and Yamamoto got an electric strikeout that fired up the crowd to end the 5th. In the top of the 6th with 2 runners on base, Ohtani struck out from chasing a pitch in the dirt, and then moving along all the way to the 9th, Ohtani ripped another ball to right field. This time it caught the corner, so he was able to use his speed to get an easy double, and then the Dodgers played textbook small ball to get that big insurance run across the board. Andy Pages chopped a ground ball to second, and Hernandez singled to right to drive Ohtani in, and that was your ball game. Ohtani finished the game 2 for 5 with 2 runs, Edman was 1 for 5 with an RBI, Hernandez was also 1 for 5 with an RBI, and Will Smith was 1 for 2 with 3 big walks. We saw a super disciplined approach from him, which could be huge all year considering who bats around him. And then Conforto and Rojas were both 1 for 4. Yamamoto pitched 5 innings and only gave up 1 earned run, a very solid start to the season for him, and overall the Dodgers just showed why they are the team to beat once again in 2025. I know this series was still kind of like spring training, it did count on the record, and it was electric, but pitchers were barely going 4 innings, and there were different things happening that normally wouldn't. But hey, I can't complain, baseball is back, and here's what Dave Roberts had to say following these wins.
Just the way he responded in that situation when he didn't have his best command tonight, I just think it speaks to how competitive he is, and that was a pivotal part of the game, and he's just such a great competitor, and you know, we'll stretch him out, but I think that even when he didn't have his best stuff early, and I think again, I think a lot of it is emotions, but it speaks to how competitive of a great competitor that he can make pitches when he needed to make pitches. I think it's kind of a little bit like where Yoshinobu was last year, where major league pitchers have to learn to trust their fastball and command it, and it makes their secondary pitches play up. So number one, I believe that he's going to continue to get that conviction to command the fastball. And today there was just a lot of his splits were ball out of the hand. And if he can get his split over the plate more, he'll get a lot more swing and miss also.
That's really all I have to say for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. I'm going to be covering the Dodgers all season long, so make sure to stay tuned, and until next time, I will see you all later.